He already knew everything before I had even come home from work. So both of us ended up having to console each other while we cried since our lives had been turned upside down. I knew that no matter what happened with the divorce, I was going to make sure that we had shared custody of Johnny because, regardless of his biological parentage, he was my son through and through. I had raised him, and nobody could take that away from me, not Non and not even Megan. I spoke to my lawyer and filed for a divorce within hours of finding out the truth, and the terms of my divorce petition were pretty simple and fair. I was going to keep everything that we had, and she had better not hope for alimony because she had been a stay-at-home mom for the past after Johnny was born. In spite of all of my support, she had cheated on me. She had already been using me for money for all the years that we had been together. I was not going to allow that to happen any longer. Of course, she was not in agreement with that and contested the terms of the divorce and demanded alimony as well as a huge settlement amount. I was ready to fight for that, I didn't mind. But she made things much worse by filing for full custody 3 weeks ago because apparently she and Non were planning on relocating to another city so they could open up a branch of his business there as well, and they wanted to take Johnny with them. I would be given visitation rights, but she demanded full custody since things have finally worked out so she could play happy family with Non now, just because it was convenient for her. There was no way that I was going to allow that to happen, and since we could not sort this out in mediation, this matter ended up going to family court. I was pretty confident that this would be a cakewalk for me, but she and Non started lying through their teeth about what kind of person I was, and I had to work really hard to prove them wrong, which is what has been complicating everything. Even though Johnny himself has said that he would like to stay here with me since he has grown up here, they are doing everything in their power to make it seem like Johnny is misguided and I'm the one manipulating him. They think that I'm too much of a workaholic to be able to take care of him on my own, and he would be better off living with his mother. There's also the fact that I'm not actually a biological parent to him, which is why everything is taking twice the time to be resolved. Ever since the divorce proceedings started and Megan moved out, we had come to an informal agreement about how we were going to split our time with Johnny. So far, we had an arrangement where he would spend the first 4 days of the week with Nathan and Megan and would come back to me for the weekend. I thought that this was the arrangement that we would stick to even after the divorce, but they made everything far more complicated than it needed to be by deciding to relocate to another city and filing for full custody out of the blue. So we have been locked in a custody battle for the past couple of weeks. But when we were in family court the other day, Johnny said something that sent everyone into a frenzy. This was the first time that he had been actively involved in the court proceedings, and at one point, he said that so far he had wanted to stay here with me and he was still going to stick to that, but not just because his life was based here. He also said that he had overheard Megan and Nathan speaking on the phone to their lawyer the night before, and he had overheard them discussing how they were going to portray me as the bad guy. He started mentioning a bunch of lies that they had come up with, which were far worse than what they had come up